कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव, जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा, जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन, यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन, यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यमुनातीर वनचारी, जय यमुना तिरवनचारी। राधा माधवा, जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री राधा माधव की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुरमाई की जय। वसुदेव भगवान की जय। पंच तत्व की जय। षड गोस्वामी की जय। गुरु परंपरा की जय। श्री गुरुपाद की जय। श्री गुरुदेव की जय। भागवत हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God in Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Shri Vasudeva the author. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके bhaktir naištiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So Hare Krishna, Prabhu Mata. Yes, again, welcome all of you for this Srimad Bhagavatam session. So today we'll be discussing verse number 27 from 3rd canto, 32nd chapter, 330 to 27. एतावान्येव योगेन समग्रेणेह योगिनः युज्यते अभिमतो ह्यर्थो यदसङ्गस्तु कृत्स्नशः। एतावानेव योगेन समग्रेणेह योगिनः युज्यते अभिमतो ह्यर्थो यदसङ्गस्तु कृत्स्नशः। एतावान् एव योगेन समग्रेणेह योगिनः युज्यते अभिमतो ह्यर्थो, Yes, anybody wants to recite?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, may I?
Yes, Mataji.
एतावानेव योगेन समग्रेणेह योगिनः युज्यते भीमतो ह्यार्थो यदसङ्गस्तु कृत्स्नशः. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else? One more?
May I, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
एतावानेव योगेन समग्रेणेह योगिनः युज्यते भिमतो ह्यर्थो यदसङ्गस्तु कृत्स्नशः. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Okay, Balaji Prabhu wanted to recite. Good.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. एतावान् एव योगेन समग्रेणेह योगिनः युज्यते अभिमतो ह्यर्थो यदसङ्गस्तु कृत्स्नशः.
Hare Krishna. Okay, good. Word to word meaning. Etavan, of such a measure, eva, just, yogena, by yoga practice, samagrena, all, iha, in this world, yoginaha, of the yogi, yujyate, is achieved, avimataha, desired, he, certainly, arthaha, purpose, yat, which, asangaha, detachment, tu, indeed, krisnashaha, completely. Translation and is purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation purport. The greatest common understanding for all yogis is complete detachment from matter, which can be achieved by different kinds of yoga. Purport. There are three kinds of yoga, namely Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga. Devotees, Jnanis, and yogis all try to get out of the material entanglement. The Jnanis try to detach their sensual activities from material engagement. The Jnana Yogi thinks that matter is false and that Brahman is truth. Therefore, the cultivation of knowledge, it tries to detach the senses from material enjoyment. The Ashtanga yogis also try to control the senses. The devotees, however, try to engage the senses in the service of the Lord. Therefore, it appears the activities of the bhaktas, devotees, are better than those of the jnanis and yogis. The mystic yogis simply try to control the senses by practicing the 8 divisions of yoga: yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, etc. And the jnanis try by mental reasoning to understand that sense enjoyment is false. But the easiest and most direct process is to engage the senses in the service of the Lord. The purpose of all yoga is to detach one's sense activities from this material world. The final aims, however, are different. Jnanis want to become one with the Brahman effulgence. Yogis want to realize Paramatma. And the devotees want to develop Krishna consciousness and transcend loving service to the Lord. That loving service is the perfect stage of sense control. The senses are actually active symptoms of life, and they cannot be stopped. They can be detached only if there is superior engagement. As it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Param Drishtva Nivartate. The activities of the senses can be stopped if they are given superior engagements. The supreme engagement is engagement of senses in the service of the Lord. That is the purpose of all yoga. Jai Shri Prabhupada, transcendental purport ki jai. Om Jnantvara Andasya Jnananjana Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपरिष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नित्यानामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचम् इमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयति अखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणानमो भगवते शायितुभ्यम् मुखं करोति वाक्कायं मुखं नमो नमो विष्णुपदाय विष्णुपदाय श्रीमते महाविष्णुनाम्ने नमो विष्णुपदाय Yes, Krishna. So, Hare Krishna, Maharaj. So this chapter is entitled Entanglement in Fruitive Activities. This is a continuation of the chapters, like from the third canto, 25th chapter onwards. We see Kapil Deva is giving instructions to his mother, Devahuti Mata, who is inquiring how to do devotional service, and so many various inquisitive questions to which he is going on answering. And this chapter is Entanglement Fruitive Activities. See, in this translation of this word, just now we saw the greatest common understanding for all yogis is complete detachment from matter. And he says that which can be achieved by different kinds of yoga. And the purport Prabhupada says there are three kinds of yoga: Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is for devotees. Then Jnana Yoga, Jnanis, and then yogis for the Ashtanga. All try to get out of the material entanglement. Everybody, we are in the middle words. We have to get out of this. So these are various ways. So Jnanis, they try to detach their sensual activities from material entanglement, engagement. Prabhupada says the Jnana yogis, he thinks that matter is false and that Brahman is truth. Therefore, he says that by cultivation of knowledge, he tries to detach the senses from material enjoyment. So the Jnanis try by mental reasoning to understand that sense enjoyment is false. By understanding this, actually sense gratification, everything is done, but they want to get out of it. So ultimately, by knowledge, they think that this is false. Ashtanga yogis also try to control the senses. See, the mystic yogis simply try to control the senses by practicing the 8 divisions of yoga: yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, etc. So the devotees, what do? They try to engage the senses in the service of the Lord. Therefore, it appears that the activities of the bhaktas, that is the devotees, are better than those of the jnanis and yogis. But the easiest and most direct process is to engage the senses in the service of Krishna. Now, what is the purpose of all yoga? That Prabhupada gives in the second paragraph of this purport. He says, the purpose of all yoga is to detach one's sense activities from this material world. That's the point, very important point. And the final aim, however, are different. The first one is to detach one's sense activities from material world, okay. But what is the final outcome? They are different. How? Jnanis want to become one with the Brahman effulgence. Yogis want to realize the Paramatma. And devotees want to develop Krishna consciousness and transcend loving service to the Lord. So that loving service is a perfect stage of sense control. See, the senses are actually active symptoms of life. Senses are not dead. They're actually active symptoms of life. And they cannot be stopped. See, you cannot be desireless, right? It is always active. But they can be detached only if there is some superior engagement. So that as it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Param Drishtva Nivartate. So the activities of the senses can be stopped if they are given superior engagements. So the supreme engagement is engagement of the senses in the service of the Lord. So that is the purpose of all yoga. We just saw the Ashtanga yoga, right? That is having 8 parts. So what are those 8 parts? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. These are the 8 parts. Yama means rules. Yama is rules. Niyama, restrictions. Asana, sitting postures. Pranayama, breathing exercises. Pratyahara, sense restriction. Dharana, meditation. Dhyana, undisturbed meditation. And Samadhi, total absorption. This is what is talked about the Ashtanga Yogis. So how to perfect our senses? See, a man who is in perfect knowledge, he knows that one cannot be happier than he is destined to be. So in this material world, everyone is destined to suffer a certain amount of distress. Okay. This is a point to understand. Everybody is predestined. So everyone is destined to suffer a certain amount of distress and also enjoy a certain amount of happiness. See, the amount of happiness and distress is already predestined for every living entity. No one can increase or decrease the happiness of the materialistic way of life. Okay. So we must use our time for advancement of Krishna consciousness by engaging our senses. This is very nice point for us to understand, right? That is why in the 10th canto, 60th chapter, 80th chapter, 10th canto, 80th chapter of Bhagavatam, Parishik Maharaj, he very nicely explains the best ways to perfect our senses. Number one, the capacity for talking. The capacity for talking can be perfected only by describing the transcendental qualities of the Lord. So talking, we are talking so many things, right? But that can be perfect only by describing transcendental qualities of the Lord. Number two, the capacity for working with one's hands can be successful only when we engage in serving the Lord with those hands. Number three, ears. Ears can be perfected simply by engagement in hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord. Four, the function of the head can be fully utilized when the head is engaged in bowing down before the Lord and his representative. That's a spiritual master. Number five, the function of the mouth is perfected by drinking the charamrit. Of course, chanting, right? Number six, similarly, one's mind can be pacified only when he simply thinks of Krishna in full Krishna consciousness. These are the 6 points. So this does not mean that one has to be very thoughtful, but one simply has to understand that Krishna, the absolute truth, is all pervasive by his localized aspect as Paramatma. If only one can think that Krishna is Paramatma, is everywhere, even within the atom, then one can perfect the thinking, feeling, and willing function of the mind. That's why in Bhagavad Gita 2.59, Krishna says, Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehena rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. 2.5 in Bhagavad Gita. So the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment. See, the embodied soul inside, may be restricted from sense enjoyment, but though the taste for sense subject remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. So Prabhupada describes in his purport that sense restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations is something like restricting a diseased person from certain types of eatables. When somebody is diseased, there is some restriction. You should not eat this, do not eat like that, right? There is a restriction by rules. But the point to understand is, because of the restriction, he's not eating that. That doesn't mean he's fully, now he's out of sense enjoyment. No. Patient, however, neither patient neither likes such restriction, nor does he lose his taste for eatables. His taste is still there. But because of restriction, he's not able to eat it. So he doesn't like the restriction also, but he wants to eat also. But understood? So that doesn't mean that automatically you are free of sense enjoyment. So similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Ashtanga Yoga, no matter of Yama, Niyama and all, this is recommended for less intelligent persons who have no better knowledge. It is only for those people. But one who is in Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for some pale things. So unless one is a perfect devotee, he cannot achieve the highest standard of knowledge. Therefore, it is given in the Bhagavad Gita. The person who has come to the point of perfection of knowledge, what has happened? He surrenders unto Supreme Personality God. So any person who has surrendered his life to the service of Supreme Personality God, Krishna, has come to the point of perfect knowledge. So the only way to control the senses. Here in Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 verses. 258, second chapter, 58 verse, 59, 60 and 61. Second chapter, Bhagavad Gita, 58, 59, 60 and 61. Krishna discusses how to control the senses. He explains the method of restriction from sense objects and its risks. And he gives a glimpse of Bhakti Yoga, by which one engages the senses in his devotional service. So actually, in 2.61, Krishna gives himself as a topmost goal of yoga. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vashehi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. One who restrains the senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. So in the purport, Prabhupada gives 3 points. One whose senses and mind are fully engaged in Krishna is the topmost yogi. Second, if one is not Krishna conscious, it is not at all possible to control the senses. And 3, the Yoga Sutra prescribes meditation on Vishnu and not on the void, not on the something void, vacuum. Actually, Yoga Sutra refers to the great work of Patanjali Muni, right? We describe the system of Ashtanga Yoga. See, as example of topmost yogi, Prabhupada describes the life of King Ambarisha. The principle in his yoga practice was to Ambarish Maharaj, was to engage his mind and all of his senses in service of the Supreme Lord. One. So what is Ambarish Maharaj? He's a very great king of the whole universe. He must have so many other duties to perform, right? But he was totally focused. What all things he did? One, he fixed his mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. 2, his words in describing the abode of the Lord. 3, his hands in cleansing the temple of the Lord. 4, his ears in hearing the pastimes of the Lord. 5, his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord. 6, his body in touching the body of the devotee. 7, his nostrils in smelling the flavor of flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. Tulsi also. 8, his tongue in tasting tulsi leaves offered to Krishna. 9, his legs in traveling to the holy place where his temple is situated. 10, his head in offering obeisances to the Lord. And 11, his desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. His desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. So his consciousness was fixed on the Lord by devotional service. So in this connection, Prabhupada, he quotes Acharya Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, who has stated, the senses can be completely controlled by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. The senses can be completely controlled by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. See, when Durvasa Muni became angry with King Ambarisha, he wanted to kill him. Now, Ambarish Maharaj kept his mind and senses fully under control. How? By accepting the situation as the mercy of the Lord. And thus he came out victorious from the calamity. See, a very significant point Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, that Ambarish Maharaj, being a devotee of the Lord, he silently tolerated all the injustices. Very important point to us. Being a devotee of the Lord, so if one is a devotee of the Lord, means he has to silently tolerate all the injustices. How many injustices might be there? So Ambarish Maharaj, he silently tolerated all the injustices. And this was possible because he was completely engaged in the service of the Lord. So it's an important message for all of us, who are struggling. They're all struggling to increase our tolerance limit in the midst of all the injustices and calamities of our own minds, as well as others' minds, in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, Kali Yuga. So Prabhupada, he concludes in his book, The Path of Perfection, where he says, Maharaj Ambarisha was an ordinary king. He's not, he's just an ordinary, but his one great qualification was that he was always thinking of Krishna. Thus, his mind was always controlled, and he was situated at the highest perfection level of yoga. So, we also can very easily control the mind by keeping it fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna within. Simply by thinking of Krishna, we become victorious, conquerors, topmost yogis. See, in one of the lectures, Prabhupada, of course, he is referring from Bhagavad Gita, verse number 635 to 45, with regard to Sankhya Yoga system. And in one of the purport, he says, only the fools and rascals deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Such fools take it upon themselves to write commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita without an attitude of service to the Lord. And Prabhupada further says, so the culmination of all kinds of yoga practices lies in Bhakti Yoga. All other yogas are but means to come to the point of Bhakti Yoga. This is what, see, so many yogas are there. All are but means to come to the point of Bhakti Yoga. So yoga actually means Bhakti Yoga. All other yogas are progressions towards this destination. So from the beginning of Karma Yoga to the end of Bhakti Yoga is a long way to self-realization. Now Karma Yoga without fruitive activities, Karma Yoga without fruitive results is the beginning of this path. See, when Karma Yoga increases in knowledge and renunciation, when Karma Yoga increases in knowledge and renunciation, that stage is called Jnana Yoga. And when Jnana Yoga increases in meditation on the super soul by different physical processes, and the mind is on Krishna, it is called Ashtanga Yoga. And when one surpasses the Ashtanga Yoga and comes to the point of the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, it is called Bhakti Yoga. So the gradual process of yoga system, Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, right? So Karma Yoga means ordinary activities, fruitive activities. Just Karma Yoga. So ordinary activity means sinful activities also. But Karma Yoga does not mean sinful activities. See, only karma means only sinful. Karma Yoga does not mean sinful activities. Only good, pious activities or prescribed activities. That is called Karma Yoga. Otherwise, it's only karma. Only karma means sinful activities. See, by performing Karma Yoga, one comes to the platform of Jnana Yoga, knowledge. And from knowledge to this Ashtanga Yoga, that is eightfold system. And see, from Ashtanga Yoga, concentrating the mind of the Lord, come to the point of Bhakti Yoga. And when one comes to the Bhakti Yoga platform, that is a perfectional stage of yoga. And this Krishna consciousness means from the very beginning, directly, that is in Bhakti Yoga. See, if actually Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal, but to analyze Bhakti Yoga minutely, one has to understand these other minor yogas. The Prabhupada says, if somebody is practicing Jnana Yoga, if we think that this is finished, Jnana, I know Jnana Yoga, knowledge, everything, cultivating knowledge, that is it. This is finished. That is wrong. Prabhupada says you have to make further progress. Gives an example, just like there is a staircase, and you have to go to the highest floor. For example, the 100th floor. Okay. So somebody is on the 50th floor, somebody on the 60th floor, somebody on the 80th floor. So if I come in, somebody comes to the 30th floor or 50th or 80th floor, and one thinks that this is finished, then he's not progressing. It has gone to go to the end, highest platform of yoga, up to the 100th floor. See, the whole staircase can be called a yoga system, connecting link. But don't be satisfied by keeping yourself on the 50th floor, 80th floor. Go to the highest platform, 100th floor. That is bhakti. But if one is fortunate enough to come to the point of bhakti yoga, it is to be understood that he has surpassed all the different yogas. That is the point. So, Prabhupada says, if you take this bhakti yoga, immediately you take the help of the elevator. And within a second, you're on the 100th floor. So, this is the process, direct process. You can go step by step, following all other yoga system. But you can take directly also. That also facility is there. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended that in this age, Kali Yuga, people are very short-lived. They're disturbed, full of anxieties. Therefore, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is giving us the lift immediately. Go by the lift. Come to Bhakti Yoga. Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Immediately. You don't know where got to wait. Immediately take this Bhakti Yoga. So this is the special gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Rupa Goswami, Sri Rupa prays. He offers respects to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Obeisance unto you. Oh, you're the most munificent incarnation. Because you're giving directly love of Krishna. So to attain love of Krishna, one has to pass through so many steps and stages of yoga. Right? But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving you directly. So you're the most munificent, most merciful. So therefore, to become Krishna conscious is the highest stage of yoga. Just as when we speak of the Himalayas, right? We refer to the world's highest mountains, highest peak, Mount Everest. It is considered to be the highest culmination. See, it is by great good fortune that one comes to Krishna consciousness on the path of Bhakti Yoga. See, the ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Shama Sundara, beautifully colored as a cloud. It is lotus-like face, effulgent like a sun, and his dress as brilliant with earrings, and his body flower garland, right? See, illuminating all sides in his gorgeous luster, which is called the Brahma Jyoti. He incarnates in different forms, such as Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he descends like a human being as a son of Mother Yashoda. And he's known as Krishna, Govinda, Vasudeva. He's a perfect child, husband, friend, master, full of all opulences and transcendental qualities. So, if one remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord, he is called the highest yogi. So, this stage of highest perfection in yoga can be attained only by Bhakti Yoga, as is confirmed in all Vedic literatures. See, Sarvasya Sam Vedasana Vishnu Mata Sarvat. Vedas Sarve Hameva Vedya, right? So, Bhakti. So, in Bhagavad Gita, you find Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati Yavan Yaschasmi Tattvataha, 18.55 Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, one can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Krishna, Lord Krishna, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. See, in the beginning, Krishna says, out of millions of people, one may understand me actually, factually. See, the same factually word is used in the 18th chapter, that if one wants to know me, Krishna, then he has to go through the process of Bhakti Yoga. That's why Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati Yavan Yaschasmi Tattvataha, 18.5, right? So in the Vedas also it is said that simply through Bhakti, devotional service, you can attain to the highest perfection stage. Other yoga system, there must be a mixture of Bhakti. Bhakti Yoga is unadulterated devotion. So this direct process of Bhakti Yoga is recommended for this Kali Yuga. Because There's not sufficient time to execute all the other paraphernalia in any other system of yoga. No time. That's why in the book, The Perfection of Yoga, Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is the last link in the yogic chain. The link that binds us to the Supreme Person, Lord Shri Krishna. And without this final link, the chain is practically useless. And Prabhupada further says, those who are truly interested in the perfection of yoga process should immediately take to Krishna consciousness by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Understanding, they should chant Hare Krishna, they should understand Bhagavad Gita, render service to Krishna through this process platform, thereby surpass all other systems. And then the ultimate goal of yoga can be achieved, love of Krishna. So how to perfect our senses? A man who is in perfect knowledge knows that one can be happier than he is destined to be, right? That we saw in the beginning, right? So very, very important point to understand. So being the magnanimous Supreme Father for all living entities, Krishna gives us a method of getting relief from miseries through his instructions in Bhagavad Gita. Essence of all these instructions is to simply surrender unto him and perform devotional service. Now, devotional service unto Supreme Lord Krishna includes the 9 elements of bhakti, like Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, obeying, maintaining friendship, surrendering everything unto Krishna. So by engaging in one or all of the services, we are guaranteed to save ourselves from all miseries. You know, the life of pure devotees like Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadev Goswami, Ambarish Maharaj, they provide us exemplary guidance for us to reach the abode of Lord Krishna without being caught up in this repetitive cycle of birth and death. You know, those who are born in India, so most of us have got used to several other pious activities, before getting into touch with Srila Prabhupada's movement. But the instructions from pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada or Lord Kapila and Krishna himself very clearly explains to us the futility of all the other activities. So we should give up all the old habits, come out of that mood and wholeheartedly surrender to Krishna as the instructions in Bhagavad Gita. See, in one of the lectures, Prabhupada says, Bhagavad Gita is also a yoga system. That is Bhakti Yoga. Although there are descriptions of karma, jnana, and mystic yoga, ultimately Bhakti Yoga, that is Bhagavad Gita. So those who are jnanis, speculative, for them also it is described. Those who are hatha yogis, they are also described in Bhagavad Gita. But ultimately, conclusion is Bhakti Yoga. Just like in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the yoga system is described. That one has to go into a secluded place, he has to sit down straight, see the front portion of the nose, eyes half closed. In this way, Hatha Yoga system or Ashtanga Yoga system is described in Bhagavad Gita. But when Arjuna said, system of yoga is very difficult for me, Krishna, I cannot concentrate my mind in this way. 6.34 Chanchalam hi mana Krishna Pramati Bhalavadridam Tasyaham Nigraham Manye Vayo Riva Sudushkaram. See, 5,000 years ago, a personality like Arjuna was so qualified that he could talk with Krishna as ordinary friend. So how much exalted he was. You can imagine that, right? And born in a royal family, very exalted position, great warrior. He said, Krishna, I cannot execute this yoga system. It is not possible. So Chanchalam mana Krishna Pramati Bhalavadridam. My mind is so disturbed that to control the mind is exactly like that, to control the wind. And suppose there is a heavy wind, and if one tries to stop it by spreading his hand, is it possible? Not possible. So Arjuna has given this example. Pramati Bhalavadridam. My mind is so uncontrollable. Mind is so uncontrollable, just like a madman. Mind's business is like that. So immediately he said, I am accepting something and reject. See, mind is what? The nature, function of the mind is to accept something and reject something. So everybody has got this experience, right? So he said, to control the mind is not possible for me. I cannot do it. Arjuna is telling Krishna. See, now just try to understand. A personality like Arjuna is not ordinary man. He was advised by Krishna to practice this yoga system. Right? Actually, yoga system means meditation. That is yogis, mind being absorbed in meditation and concentrating the mind on the Supreme Lord Krishna. So this yoga system is meant for persons who are too much bodily attached. Hatha yoga system. Otherwise, the real yoga is the Sankhya yoga or Bhakti yoga. This is the preliminary. So when Arjuna declined, I cannot execute this yoga system. So Krishna, in order to pacify Arjuna, because he was a friend, no? Krishna thought that Arjuna is thinking unable to execute his yoga. So he pacified him by saying, my dear Arjuna, don't be agitated. He said, you're a first class yogi. Who is that I am first class yogi? Krishna says, because you're always thinking of me. Arjuna, see, Arjuna, he did not know anything but Krishna. He didn't know anything else but Krishna. And when Krishna placed himself, he divided, no, in the battlefield, before the battlefield, he was divided into two. That is, because of family fight, right? So Krishna said, I can divide myself. So Duryodhana approached and Arjuna also approached. Krishna said, I have got 18 Akshoni division of soldiers. That is one side. And I myself only. I will not fight. So Duryodhana took the armies. And Arjuna wanted only Krishna. So Duryodhana thought, let me take the soldiers. What will I do with Krishna? Right? So Krishna was so friendly and very loving, not ordinary friend. So Krishna said, my dear Arjuna, don't be disappointed because you cannot execute this Ashtanga Yoga. The first class yogi is he who always thinks of me. Yoginam api sarvesham mad gatenantar atmana 6.47. One who has taken Krishna within his heart and always thinking of Krishna. Satatam smartavya Vishnu. This is the system. This is meditation. If one is thinking of Krishna 24 hours a day, that is a first class meditation. See, you are Krishna, you're seeing Krishna here, standing with Radharani in the temple or at your home, the altar. If you always see, then you naturally get the impression of Krishna within the heart. And if you serve Krishna, see, those who are engaged in service, like you're offering food stuff, you prepare this food stuff very nicely, thinking of Krishna. Thinking that Krishna, I will offer to Krishna, Krishna will eat. So let us do it very clean, in a very clean manner and immaculately and attentively. See, whatever we offer, first class thing, that is meditation. Every time, whatever activity you're doing, you're thinking of Krishna. That is meditation. Because they are thinking of Krishna. Like this foodstuff will be taken by Krishna. This dress will be very used by Krishna. This will look very nice in Krishna. These flowers will be offered to the lotus feet of Krishna. Real meditation is this. And that is the first class yoga. Therefore, Krishna is advising in the 7th chapter that if you cannot think of me, then you can think of me on the ordinary dealings. Rasoham apsu kaunteya, 7.8. I am the taste of water. So, this yoga system we have to practice. This is Sankhya Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. The more you think of Krishna, Satatam Chintayanto Mam, Satatam Kirtayanto, 9.14 Bhagavad Gita. So these are advice in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is just not reading, but trying to understand and put into practice. So if you always chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, then you remember Krishna. Immediately the form of Krishna is awakened within your heart. And Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham, mad gatena antar atmana, always within the heart. That is Sankhya Yoga, a perfect yoga system, Bhakti Yoga. And Krishna says personally, right? In 6.47. So they are first class. So some of the way or the other. If you can think, somehow or the other, you can think of Krishna always. Right? That's why Prabhupada says we have named Krishna consciousness. That is always conscious of Krishna. So that's why Kapil Deva could understand the desire of his mother, Devavati. See, the mother was submissive. Because to understand the Sankhya Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, it requires submission. First condition is submission. Tadvidhi pranipatena, 4.34 Bhagavad Gita. You cannot understand the Sankhya Yoga system or Bhakti Yoga system by just falsely being proud that you are a very learned scholar or speculator. These things will not help. You have to hear about Krishna very submissively and accepting, not challenging. Then you will be able to understand. Sthane sthita shruti gatam tanuvan manobhihi. That means sthane sthita means you remain wherever you are, whatever position you are. From that situation only you can do. It's not that you have to go do this dham, you have to go to Vrindavan, you have to go Mathura, you have to be there. At your own home, you can create Vrindavan. From there you can start. It doesn't matter what you are. Simply you hear about Krishna. There are so many things about Krishna we can hear. Even if you are not educated, we can hear from a person who can speak the right way, the authority from Parampara system. But that person must be selected, not ordinary person, not professional person. Right? Disciplic succession. See, in Bhagavad Gita 6.17, Bhagavad Gita, Yuktahara Viharasya, Yukta Chetasya Karmashu, Yukta Swapna Bodhasya, Yoga Bhavati Dukkha. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. So, in the purport of this verse, Prabhupada very nicely said, extravagance in the matter of eating, extravagance, too much. In the matter of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, which are demands of the body, can block the advancement in the practice of yoga. See, regarding the eating habits, there is a saying, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. Practically, we can experience that we'll be able to wake up early in the morning and chant our rounds with better concentration when we follow this. Eating extravagantly in an irregular manner without any control of the tongue, it will result in obesity, and later we keep running around places like gyms and waste time performing exercise to reduce our weight. Also, we must not make the mistake of eating very less quantities of food also. One is too much, less also is not. See, we should take prasadam sufficient amounts so that we are always rejuvenated with the energy to serve the Lord more and more. So if you do so much dieting, so many other things, but you are still feeling not very enthusiastic to do the service to the Lord, then what's the point? Correct? Sufficient we should have. So that is the ultimate aim, the goal. If you should have that enthusiasm and eagerness, everything, always the energy to do the seva for the Lord. But if you feel dull and everything, then naturally there's something wrong with your process. See, one of his lectures, Prabhupada says, see, there is no question of attending a so-called yoga class by paying $500, 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees to keep yourself reduced, fat, and so on, keeping your health fit. You simply practice. This practice, Bhagavad Gita. Eat what you need. Eat what you need. Sleep what you need. Your health will be excellent. There is no need of any extraneous help. Simply by practicing this, you will have everything all right. My Guru Maharaj said, if you want to progress in our bhakti, our habits of eating, sleeping should be regulated. Your habits of material life is controlled, then material miseries will automatically reduce. Because this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. The material miseries cannot be removed completely, but can be reduced by following the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. If you sleep in an unregulated manner, then you surely slip from the path of spiritual progress naturally. See, there are three types of material miseries as per Srimad Bhagavatam. So, how can you overcome them? Number one, miseries caused by others. The miseries caused by others can be overcome by improving our behavior. Okay, first one is there are miseries or others causing miseries, right? That we cannot stop like that, but that will overcome by improving our behavior. Don't try to improve their behavior. That's not possible. Second is miseries from demigods, natural disturbances. earthquake, tsunami, etc. This can be overcome by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Third, misery due to ourselves, our own mind, and so many other things could be overcome by number one, chanting the holy names of the Lord constantly, and two, keeping ourselves busy in reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this world, BBC might be an authentic source for all news about material world. But the spiritual BBC, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, chanting, is the authentic source of news for the spiritual world. And this is the only way to maintain our direct relation with Krishna. And finally, before closing, there's one point we saw now, right, in the purport itself. This when we told the purpose of all yoga is to detach. So there, wherein it says the final aims are different. Jnanis want to become one with the Brahman effulgence. Yogis want to realize Paramatma, and devotees want to develop Krishna consciousness. So the three way of understanding the absolute truth, right? That is in 1 to 11 Bhagavatam. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Shabdati. Prabhupada explains, learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. See, in the preliminary understanding, impersonal Brahman is realized. And if you make further progress, then you realize the localized aspect, Paramatma. Ishvara Sarva Bhutana Mrudesha Arjuna Tishtati, 18.61 Bhagavad Gita. In your heart, you will see. And further progress means you will see Bhagavan or Krishna. See, the absolute truth is realized in three phases of understanding by the knower of the absolute. And all of them are identical. And such phases of absolute truth are expressed as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So these three features, known technically as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, can be understood. Let us see how it is. Brahman is the all-pervasive impersonal form of God. Sorry. So Brahman is the all-pervasive impersonal form of God. Paramatma is the localized form of God within the heart of every living entity. And Bhagavan is the personal form of God who resides in his spiritual abode. So these three features are factually the same supreme person. This can be understood by a simple analogy as given by Srila Prabhupada. The three divine aspects can be explained by the example of the sun, which also has three different aspects, namely the sunshine, the sun's surface, and the sun planet itself. So one who studies the sunshine only is a preliminary student. One who understands the sun's surface is further advanced. And one who can enter into the sun planet is the highest. See, ordinary students who are satisfied by simply understanding the sunshine, its universal pervasiveness, the glaring effulgence of its impersonal nature, may be compared to those who can realize only the Brahman feature of the absolute truth for the sunshine. The student who has advanced still further can know the sun disk, which is compared to knowledge of the Paramatma feature of the absolute truth. And thirdly, the student who can enter into the heart of the sun planet is compared to those who realize the personal features of the supreme absolute truth. There's a beautiful story on similar lines to understand the supreme absolute truth for any ordinary person. You can share with others also. See, once there are three brothers who lived in a village. Okay, they had never gone to the city before, so they had no understanding of what a train was. So one day they went to the city to see for themselves what a train was looking like. So as they waited, they heard the sound of the train's whistle, right? And they turned to another man and asked, "Is that the train?" The man answered, "Yes." Now hearing this, one of the three brothers returned to his village and told everyone that the train is the sound of a whistle. Now the other two brothers, not being convinced with the answer, waited. And soon they saw the headlight of the train in the distance. So they turned to another man and asked, "Is that the light of the train? Is that light the train?" Man replied, "Yes." Now hearing this, one of the brothers was satisfied and he returned to his village and explained how actually a train is not just a sound but a bright light as well. After waiting for some more time, the third brother saw the train pull into the station and was surprised at what he saw. There were doors and compartments. So many people getting in and getting out. There were food vendors, ticket collectors, old men, young children. So much variety. So after seeing this, he was satisfied and returned to his village to inform everyone that what a train actually was. It wasn't just an impersonal sound or a localized light. It was complete variety. So the Supreme Person possesses three unique features. One impersonal, one localized within the hearts of all living entities, and one as a supreme individual residing in his spiritual abode. So to understand the absolute truth, one must comprehend all three of these features simultaneously. This is how we should understand. That's why this chapter is very, very important, and especially this verse today with regard to the three yoga system, various yoga systems which we describe. Ultimately, it is Bhakti Yoga that we have to take up. The difference was given with the steps to go to the 100th floor or the elevator. We have to decide. Hare Krishna, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur, Premanandi Hare Hare Bol. Thank you, Hare Krishna. If you have any questions or anything to share, please go. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for wonderful class.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare.
Dandavat
Thank you.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, the equating of the three brothers, equating it to three different types of that comparison was very, very nice, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It will be easier for people to understand, right? Otherwise, it will be all like bouncers going above the head. So now you can understand. So once you understand what you have to do, you have to share it to others, right? So it will be, so people will get attracted. Oh, how did you learn? Where did you get this from? So they can come to the programs in the various temples or various classes and all. This is how we to attract. This is like a advertisement, right? It's very simple, making things simple. That's what Prabhupada has done in all his purpose and everything. He made things very, very simple with all the analogies and examples. People can understand the philosophy very easily. That's why so many people are getting attracted. Thank you, Madam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Ritin Guru. Hare Krishna. Pranams. Okay, if you have anything else to say, share or any questions, you can go ahead or we can close now. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, dear devotees. I'm ending the session. We'll see you all
Thank you.
tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you. Very good.